Welcome back to our Budapest tour. We start deep in the Óbuda district, a part of the city characterized by a fascinating mix of history and post-war architecture. The bike is warmed up, the city is just getting started, and so are we. We immediately feel that characteristic urban energy as we signal our intention to join the afternoon traffic with a quick turn. The first thing that strikes us here is the texture of the road surface. Unfortunately, in some parts of Budapest, the pavement is not of very good quality, and in some places we have to ride on the tram tracks. This requires concentration, especially when we accelerate. Let's look to the side. A row of residential buildings frames our view. We can see the older, more robust, turn-of-the-century buildings, among which stand the characteristic giants of post-war residential buildings. This is the visual timeline of Hungary's capital. We maintain a steady pace, slaloming between slow cars and buses dominating the outer lane. Every few seconds we pass local shops, small stores, pharmacies and ground-floor offices, the vital arteries of this residential neighborhood. The rhythm of the city is determined by traffic lights, but right now we are flowing, enjoying the brief moment when the road is clear. Observe the commuters around us. They are returning home from work, picking up their children from school, moving through rush hour traffic with the determination typical of a weekday afternoon. You can hear the gentle hum of our engine, which contrasts with the loud roar of the surrounding traffic. We continue on our way. The traffic does not quiet down, but this is not surprising, as it is 4:30 in the afternoon. This road serves as one of the main traffic arteries, directing traffic from the northern suburbs to the central hubs of Buda. We pass under an overpass, a short shaded section, and then we are back in full light. On the right, we can see a local park or a small enclosed playground, tiny green islands in the grey urban landscape. The traffic density is now increasing slightly. We are approaching an important junction. We can see the signs for the large intersections ahead. The movement of cars is becoming more urgent and aggressive. The quiet routine start to the journey is soon transformed into the organized chaos of a major intersection. We take our places, check the mirrors one last time, and prepare for the challenge that awaits us after the next turn, the legendary Kolosy Square. We arrive at Kolosy Square, and as expected, the rhythm changes immediately. This is not just an intersection, but the meeting point of three main roads and, more importantly, a hub. We slow down to cope with the complex situation. We observe how the lanes curve and turn, the constant flow of pedestrians crossing, and the yellow trams, these huge vehicles, which have right-of-way. It requires full attention and precise maneuvering, proving that riding a motorcycle in an urban environment is as much about skill as it is about speed. After successfully crossing the square, we briefly join Árpád-Fegyedelem Boulevard, then connect to Margit Boulevard. This is where the consolidation of the city really begins. The mixed architectural style of Óbuda gives way to more uniform, imposing residential buildings. These buildings are older, more imposing, and line the road like canyon walls, making the traffic seem even denser. We are now definitely traveling on one of Buda's main arteries, a route that runs parallel to the Danube. You can almost feel the proximity of the river. The air seems heavier, and the flow of people and traffic is incessant. Just look at the density of cars, buses, and motorcycles around us. There is no such thing as a quiet moment here. This road is forever alive. The road becomes a concentrated exercise in lane control and anticipation. We constantly watch the vehicles in front of us, anticipate when they will brake or change lanes, and keep a safe distance from the trams, which are our constant companions. Stopping at every traffic light gives us the opportunity to observe the microcosm around us. The hurried delivery drivers, the commuters talking on their phones, and the general buzz inherent in the movement of European capitals. We pass local landmarks and traditional institutions, signaling that we have left the outer residential areas and entered a highly functional central district. This section is a testament to Budapest's engineering prowess, balancing this heavy traffic on a historic road network. As we continue along Margit Boulevard, we quickly approach the heart of the city, ready to pass by the most striking monuments that define the Buda skyline and continue on our way. We continue our journey on Margit Boulevard, and the pace does not slow down. This section proves that Budapest is truly a metropolis on the move. The road design here focuses on efficiency, but that also means there is an almost constant battle for lanes, especially among the ubiquitous trams. Listen to the high-pitched hum of the overhead wires and the characteristic rumbling of tram wheels on the tracks. This is the sound of the city. Look up and to the left. The view is dominated by the characteristic silhouette of the Buda Castle district. Even when we are struggling in street traffic jams, we are constantly in the shadow of history. The contrast between modern, fast-moving traffic and the timeless 1,000-year-old buildings above us is one of the most exciting things about cycling in this city. We are traveling through the living, working heart of the capital. As we approach the next big challenge, the density of people and vehicles increases. We pass smaller, more important intersections, each of which requires quick checks and speed adjustments. Every movement on the road must be fluid and precise. Cycling is not just a means of transportation, but active participation in the urban environment. Now, we prepare for the biggest challenge on this side of the Danube, Széll Kálmán Square. This is undoubtedly Buda's most important transportation hub. It is a huge multi-level intersection where buses, trams, subway lines, and countless cars converge. We see the signs at the metro entrance, which serve as guidance for those switching from surface transport to the deep-lying metro lines. The architectural style here is modern, forming a sharp contrast to the historic buildings we just passed. This is a recently renovated square built entirely with functionality in mind. Moving around the square requires patience and keen observation skills. We have to watch out for buses pulling out, taxis dropping off passengers, and the constant flow of pedestrians rushing between the traffic. We choose our lane carefully, ensuring maximum visibility and anticipating the movement of the traffic around us. Once we have successfully navigated this bustling chaos, we can breathe a collective sigh of relief. We have conquered the city centre and are now ready to exchange the hustle and bustle of the city for the tranquility of the hills. We successfully navigate the chaos of Széll Kálmán Square and with one last burst of energy leave the bustling city traffic hub behind us. We are immediately filled with a sense of relief when the road widens enough for us to pick up the pace again. We slowly reach Delhi railway station with Vermezzo on our left, but we turn right towards Kolosy Street. The atmosphere changes dramatically. Now we focus all our attention on the climb. We begin to climb the hills of Buda. The architecture changes immediately. We leave the monumental commercial buildings behind and arrive in a purely residential area. The dense, multi-story apartment buildings lining the main roads are now replaced by quieter streets. The nature of the road is less about avoiding trams and more about watching out for parked cars and taking the gentler curves of the uphill road. We can feel that the engine is working a little harder as the slope becomes steeper. This is the physical transition from the flat city centre to the hilly terrain. The streets begin to narrow slightly, and the pace of life around us seems to slow down. The hectic, hurried movements of downtown commuters are replaced by the more measured steps of local residents. Look how the green vegetation takes over. The potted plants and small trees lining the sidewalks are replaced by increasingly larger and more frequent patches of grass and mature trees. The air, which is already slightly cleaner than in the densely built-up city centre, seems to get lighter with every metre we climb. We enter the highly sought-after elite peaceful districts of Buda. We travel at a steady speed, smoothly navigating the gentle curves. We pass several small intersections, each leading deeper into the residential network, confirming that we are now completely immersed in the exclusive hillside communities. The soundscape also changes. The constant noise of city buses and busy traffic is replaced by the intermittent sound of our own engine and the occasional chirping of birds. We have moved from necessity to enjoyment. This part of the journey is all about anticipation. We have left the stress behind us and are now waiting for the final discovery, the elegant villas and beautiful, extensive gardens of the Istenhegyi neighborhood that lie ahead of us. From the wide asphalt roads, we travel into the peaceful green heart of Budapest. Let's take a look around. The buildings are no longer tightly packed blocks. They have been replaced by spacious, elegant villas set slightly back from the road, often surrounded by high walls and lush, mature gardens. These houses tell the story of a different Budapest, one of quiet prosperity and solitude. The foliage of the trees is so dense that it forms a beautiful, cool tunnel, casting dappled sunlight and deep shadows on the road. This section requires a smoother, calmer driving style. There is no place here for the aggressive maneuvers required in the city. We simply enjoy the smooth road surface and the continuous upward slope. Traffic thins out considerably, and we share the road mainly with local residents and occasional travellers who are also seeking this peaceful refuge. The only constant sound is the soft purr of our engine echoing off the walls and fences. The Istenhegyi Road is more than just a road. It is an iconic route that leads to the famous lookout points and hiking trails of Normafa. As we drive along, we pass beautiful stone walls and carefully tended hedges, each of which hides a unique architectural masterpiece. We are completely immersed in a high-altitude residential paradise, completely isolated from the noise and bustle of the city. The last section of the road becomes almost meditative. The continuous climb and cool atmosphere create a sense of accomplishment. We cross the lower-lying districts and arrive at this high plateau. This is the reward for navigating the intense urban transport network. Finally, we turn onto Németvölgyi Street. This quiet, tree-lined road marks the end of our journey. The houses here are just as elegant, but perhaps even more secluded. The road ends here, in the perfect place where the intensity of the journey meets ultimate peace. We started in the concrete jungle of Óbuda, and ended up in the green, peaceful embrace of the Buda Hills. Thank you for joining us on this complete tour of Budapest. From the bustling tram lines and traffic lights to the peaceful winding paths of the hills, it has been a spectacular journey.